Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel codeWithKhan. Let's see today's LeetCode problem. 3379 transformed array. Easy marked hai. Let's read the question. You are given an integer array nums that represents a circular array. Your task is to create new array result from the same size following the rules. For each index I, where 0 is less than or equal to I and I is less than nums.length, perform the following independent actions. So if nums of I is greater than 0, start at index I and move nums of I steps, right? If we are at index I, we will move nums of I steps to the right side of the circular array and set result of I to the value of the index where you land, right? That means if we are at index 0 and nums of index 0 is 2, then we need to move 2 steps from the index 0, right? 2 steps, and then we need to make result of I to the this index of the value of the new index. That means if you are at index 0 and we move to the 2 okay, so that means if we are at index 0 and if nums of 0 is 2, then we need to move 2 steps from index 0 and we make result of 0 with nums of new index. Okay, and if nums of I is less than 0 and start at index I and move absolute of nums of I steps to the left in the circular array and set result of I to the value of the index where you land. So same goes with nums of, if nums of I is -2, right? If it is -2, then we need to move 2 steps left side of the array and we add result of I to the where we have landed. And if it is nums of I is 0, then we will simply set result of I to the nums of I and then we will return the result array. So notice, since nums is circular, moving past the last element wraps around the beginning and moving before the first element wraps back to the end. That means if this is the array and if you are moving in this direction and we reach the end of the index, then we need to start again from the beginning. And same goes if you are traversing to the left and we found the end of the array, then we need to start again from the end of the array. Got it? Now constraints are very simple. Nums.length is less than or equal to 100. Now let's check with one example. We have 3, -2, 1 and 1, right? We'll first take initialize one result array, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Here also 0, 1, 2, 3. Now result when we are at index I, which is 0, right? Nums of I is 3, so we need to move 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. So we landed at index 3 and index 3's value is 1, so we will set result of I to 1. Now we move further and we come to 1. Now index I is at 1 and now it is -2. So -2 meaning is we need to move left 2 times, 2 steps, like 1 step, and then since array is ended, we'll come from the end again. So we landed at 1, so value will set result of I with the 1. Now we will move further and now I became 2. So here nums of 2 is 1, so we just need to move 1 step and here we come to index 3 and the index 3's value is 1 and we will set result of 2 with 1. Now we move further and now I is 3, we are at index 3 and index 3's value is 1, so we need to move 1 step further, but we are at the end of the array, so we need to start from the beginning. So we move 1 step and we landed at index 0 and index 0's value is 3, so we will set result of 3 with value nums of 0, which is 3. Now result of I is created, we will just return this array. Now let's see the key observation here. So when we are at index 0 and we need to move 2 steps, so what we are doing, we are adding these values, right? It gives us the new index where we need to go, right? Here it is fine, right? And what if it has a larger number which is greater than the length of the array? Let's take when we are at 0 and nums of I is here, n is 4. Now nums of I is given as 6. Now 0 plus 6 is 6. Here we don't have 6 indexes. So what we need to do is, so we need to do modulo with the length of the array. So why we are doing modulo is, so modulo operator is used to decrease the value of the index to the within the range. So if we do use the modulo on any number, so it decreases the it keeps the value in the within the range only. So if we take any number and we do modulo with that one, so it decreases value size to be within that range only, right? In this case it is only 2. In this case also it is 2. So it is exact value, right? From if it is 6 here, now we need to move 6 steps. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, again 4 step, 5 step, 6 step. So we landed at second index. Okay, this is another case. And the other scenarios, if it is negative value, right? For example, if we are at index 3, negative value is -1, so we need to 1 step left, right? What will do? 3 minus 1, which is 2, right? We move 1 step left and it is fine. And what, let's say another scenario where we are at index 3 and we have large negative value. In this scenario, so what we need to do is we just add the indexes, which returns us a new index, but this is in the negative values. So, and what we need to do is we will do the modulo with this one and we will get -3 only still. So to access the negative integers, what we need to do, we need to just add the length of the array. So we'll add length of the array to convert it into the positive index. So it will be +1 now. Let's see with this example, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and we are at 3 and the value is -6. We need to move 6 steps left, which is 1, 2, 3, and then we come here 4, 5, 6. So we landed at index 1. So this is the key observations. So this is the key observations in any circular problems. So it is not only applicable here. So in any circular array problems, we can utilize the modulo n to access indexes, and if we have, it includes negative values, then we can add the array.length, right? Array.length to convert it into the positive index. So these are the two key points need to be remember in the circular array. Now let's see the complexities. So time complexity is order of n, because we are only traversing array one time, and space complexity is order of n because we are using one resultant array. Okay, now let's write code for this. We will take int n is equals to nums dot length, and then we'll create a result array, right, to store the results of length n, and then let's start iterating the array from I is equals to 0 to I should be less than n, and then I plus plus. Initial condition is if nums of I is 0, then we'll simply update result of I with nums of I. So in else case, right, when it is not 0, if it is positive or negative, then we need to generate the new index, which is int new index is equals to what I said. We'll just need to add the index with the nums of I. And to manage the index out of bounds, what we'll do is we will use the modulo of n. Okay, let's add curly braces because modulo has more precedence than the add operator. And if it is goes to the negative integers, then we simply need to, if new index is less than 0, then we will simply update the new index. We'll add it with the length of the array, and to handle the index out of bounds, we'll modulo it with modulo n. Right? So how it goes is, so when we are at index 1, and if we need to add 3 to it, right, we need nums of I is 3, then we will move to the 4th index, right? If it is negative value like -5, right, it becomes -4, right? So if it is -4, then we'll add it with the length, and it becomes the, it gives us the exact new index. And we'll update the result of I with the new index of nums array, and at the end we'll simply return the result array. Let's run. Okay, I'm seeing multiple errors. It should be new. Let's run it again. Yeah, it accepted. Let's submit the solution. Yeah, it is accepted. Yeah, if you like my content, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Happy coding, guys.